Good evening and welcome once again to the Dome Theatre Disneyland. This evening, it's the women who occupy centre stage in the World Championship final at 75 kilos. That's 165 pounds, 11 3/4 stone, whichever way you like to count your money. The outstanding athlete, well, that's Svetlana Padova of Kazakhstan. You're just looking at one or two of the other contenders here in the lineup. There are, in fact, 12 competitors in tonight's championship, including, of course, the world champion for the past two editions, the junior world champion, the European champion, the Pan-American champion, and medalists from the Europeans and junior worlds in recent seasons as well. The winners, as you can see there, Lei Chao, or Chao Lai, as I should say, from China. She actually an outstanding performer, won 2 Olympic titles for the Chinese until Padova rolled her over. And here we have a look at Juliet Okabor in the snatch, lifted up 100 kilos, and this is her lift that set herself up in the B group. The interesting thing about Okabor is actually she didn't actually produce the top performance. That was actually Hadisa Zakari of Nigeria, who put together 115. Here she is, 115, and then 125 for the clean and jerk to 240 kilos. So actually coming into this final, 115 kilos, this lift leads the competition as we get set for the first attempt. Hadisa Zakari from Nigeria. Well, this is going to be a fascinating competition. Sit back with Randy Strossen and myself, David Goldstrom, to see how this unfolds. So here we go with the women's 75 kilo championship of the world. Randy Strossen together with myself, David Goldstrom. The first attempt coming from Mary Opologi from Samoa. 5th in the Commonwealth Games, and last season the senior and junior Oceanic champion. In the Commonwealth Games totaled up 214, and Mary, just 19 years of age, looking this evening to add another 16 kilos to that total. She is improving, and she is only 19. Good to see a good lift to get us. Well, I said a good lift.
Well, it was pretty soft looking, I thought.
You thought it was soft, did you?
Yeah, let's see what it looks like in slow motion. I know she got it overhead, which was heartening, but watch the arms. Do they bend? Yes.
Yeah, I was just looking at the shaking more than this will give me a better idea. Yes, you're absolutely clear on the right arm. Yeah. Yeah, I should have spotted that.
But at least she got the bar overhead. We've had a sea of red lights here that we're trying to get to the end of, right? We'd like to get them land.
Mary, who's got a sister going in the super heavyweights, Ellie Opologi, who could actually surprise one or two. The Oceanic area, which is very much looked after by Paul Coffer, and doing a really good job in that part of the world. A lot of island activity, set up the new institute in New Caledonia, and really there's a buzz around the islands in the South Pacific, particularly for this sport, and I would say largely in the women's division.
Yeah, Marcus Stephen comes to mind, you know, as a man from that area who had significant success. Had a couple other guys, too, but maybe more luck recruiting and being able to hold on to women.
Yeah, and Marcus, who hails from Nauru, which is just off the Australian coast, the northeast Australian coast. Well, it's a couple of hours flying at least. But ultimately, his success in weightlifting and his travels around the world earned him the opportunity to become the country's president,
right,
which he rightly took on, and with huge honor. Now, come on, Mary. 97 kilos. This is definitely within her range.
Right arm.
Again, I would say, yeah, this time I would say their right arm again, but where they're going to go? Well,
there's soft, and then there's just plain bad. Let's see if we get a shot from the front.
well, I thought this was marginally better, but I still, yeah, that. What do you think?
I don't know. To me, the arm looked like it, wiggled a little bit.
Anyway, it doesn't really matter what we say.
Exactly.
She's been given the lift, and
thankfully,
yeah, she's on her way. Chinese represented tonight by Kang Hui, the Universiade champion of this season, won that in Shenzhen a little earlier, and is a lifter who's moving up into this class. She's had terrific success, the Chinese lifter, over the last couple of seasons at 69 kilos, but always difficult. The Russians have also got a talent, Svetlana Shimkova, who won the 69 kilo class last year, moving up. They have been quite honest about it, the Russians. They said if she gets anywhere near a medal or even a medal, that'll be just amazing. She weighed in at 69 kilos 20, so she's giving away an awful lot of weight here.
And maybe moving out, David, Kaolai is not here, right? Who we're used to seeing, and
Chaolai, yeah, Chaolai. Chaolai, the Olympic champion in 2004 and the world champion in 6 and 7, and then again the Olympic champion in 2008. Another absentee, by the way, is Natalia Bolotnaya of Russia, another major performer. Got an elbow injury and is scheduled to lift in the President's Cup in the middle of December.
Oh, is she? Oh.
Now, Japan's representative. We saw Hiromi Miyake earlier in the competitions in the women's 53 group. I thought she acquitted herself pretty well.
Yes.
And this woman has been improving as well. Hema Hoco, who was 3rd in the Asian Championships, steadies in that bottom position, drives up to take 100. And nice to see she's starting where she left off in the Asian Championships and indeed the World Championships last year, where she was down in 19th place, but better things hopefully to come for her.
Smoothly done lift. Looks like she could do this all day long.
And just to put this all into context, of course, Haditsa Zakari of Nigeria, who had 2 failures at 115, pulled it out of the bag to get 115 kilos on the 3rd attempt. Svetlana Padova opening up on 125. And interesting, Padova in the Kazakh Nationals, 135, 163, her numbers.
Whoa.
I mean, in a sense, we're hoping, can she go for yet another world record? Because she's taken world records or set the world records in the last 2 world championships as she's taken the title. So Mary Opologi putting 4 kilos on the bar and getting into the hundreds. Now this is definitely new territory for her. Maybe a bit fortunate to get the 2nd attempt, but
I think it was the best of the 3.
yeah, I would agree with that, Randy. Great fun in the Commonwealth Games with all the athletes from all over the islands. Learned quite a lot about the South Pacific. Learned about a place called Nui.
See?
I said to people, how do you get to Nui? They said, on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I said, how do you do? They said, that's the day the Air New Zealand flight goes in.
Yeah.
I said, when do you leave? They say, you leave on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to leave, canoe.
Yeah. Well, when the World's Weight in Nehru was like that, and did they turn the one road or something into the landing strip?
Yeah. Right, representing Colombia now. Ubaldina Valoy is the Pan American champion. Experienced lifter, 29 years of age, representing Colombia, opening up on 103.
Boy, she stuck that.
Yeah, you know, you get people who are over-ambitious, and then you get people who lift at 103, which, you know, that's 10 kilos inside what she was lifting at the Pan Ams, and you sort of wonder to yourself, well, you know, should it have been a bit more? But it's all about your condition on this day at the time.
Yeah, I personally am in favor of seeing a higher success ratio here. I mean, we're seeing, like, what, roughly 1/3 of the lifts being good. I would say something like that.
But it's always worth remembering that what you did last year or earlier this year, the kilos that you get is a snapshot of what happened then. It doesn't really relate to what happens now. So one or two Japanese fans letting their presence be known. And 104 here. Now this will be a new personal best for her if she does this. And she has a bit of a history, Randy, of not putting too many good lifts in. Last couple of competitions, you know, 2 out of 6 percentages, not great.
Well, she'll fit right in. It's kind of interesting. I mean, she makes the lifts look effortless in that. It's as if she's not struggling now. There are not a lot of places where you can't struggle in the snatch, but this is weightlifting, and it's as if, well, maybe I'm arranging flowers or something like that. So, you know, activity completely different from.
So while we
pretty big weight.
While we got a moment, just to run down the field for you, the big star, the favorite, Svetlana Padova, the world champion for the past 2 editions. Kang Hui of China, the junior world champion. Svetlana Shimkova, world champion last year at 69 kilos, moving up. Her Russian teammate, the European champion this year, Nadezhda Evshchakina. Then we got the junior world bronze medalist, Abir Abdel Rahman from Egypt. The 4th place in the Olympic Games was taken by Irina Kulesha of Belarus. And more to come. I'll pause there as Hema Hoco comes out onto the stage. But in their own way, everybody in this class tonight is an achiever.
You know, David, that's a good point. I mean, we've been fairly hard on some of these lifters because of the low success ratio, but this is a championships. You're absolutely right. All these people have achieved to be here. Just because they're not meeting our expectations of going 6 for 6, flashing world records on the board, doesn't mean that they're not worthy. They're doing great. Pretty big class. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Pretty big class, 12 lifters. This is kind of just the prelude, you know, for the fireworks that are really going to determine who stands on the podium at the end of the evening.
Indeed, and this, all the way from the People's Republic of Korea, is Kim Un-ju, probably at 21, the least exposed of all the competitors, and comes here after failing to get a total in the Asian Championships. She had 3 goes at 105 there, and she didn't get any of them, so we go again. Well done.
Her feet do not even move at the end of this lift. In fact, they don't move throughout this lift. She's got everything going on rails.
Do you know, I really enjoy, you know, when somebody's had a bad series and they come out first time on the stage, you can forgive them for being nervous and butterflies. You come out, she absolutely nailed that, and she put the past way back. Well done. Good start. Now, the young woman with the longest name, certainly in tonight, Anna Kurmokhambetova from Kazakhstan. Very much the second string, and I don't mean that in a rude way, because she actually is the junior world silver medalist of this season, just 18 years of age, but she has the opportunity under Alexei Neve to understudy Svetlana Padova. 105 for her for a starter.
you'd say, you know, another well-coached lifter, just knocks everything off, does the job, very professional execution.
Mind you, she's got some act to follow.
Yeah. Look at this, though. Nice lift. Got the game face on, delivers the goods.
Egypt, this is Abir Abdel Rahman from Alexandria, also still in the teens, 19 years of age. Had a couple of near misses, finishing 4th in the Junior Worlds this year and 4th in the Worlds last year. Oh, sorry, in Goiânia in 2009. Benny Hansen right next to her there, the technical controller at the doorway. As you have a look at the Kazakh lifter. And 107 kilos on the bar here for Abir's opener. You can see the arms right out at the, almost at the extension of the bar here. Strong. Strong, workmanlike, no problem there, Randy.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, you brought that up. We never talk about why is the grip so wide in the snatch. Well, part of it is most people do not have shoulder flexibility to get the bar overhead like that, not out wide. But glad you mentioned that. We take it for granted in weightlifting, but if you're watching it for the first time, why are the hands so wide? And it's for that reason. Increases the ability to get the bar overhead in that position.
Bar stays on 107 for the Colombian. She's represented her country at the Olympic Games, was 7th in Beijing, total up 244. This is still 3 kilos short of what she can do, but this is step by step. Second attempt. Very good. Just a little adjustment, but actually the placement initially from the pull off the ground was pretty good.
You know, I'm going to take first and second attempt with pleasure here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a couple steps forward. Not a huge deal. He used the entire platform. Has to be motionless, waiting for the down signal from the referees.
You know, but keeping this in perspective now, you know, all these young women who are lifting at this particular moment aren't going to get anywhere near the Nigerian in the B group.
Yeah.
Haditza Zakari with 115 kilos.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the first appearance of the Chinese lifter Kang Hui, 20-year-old Universiade champion, the junior world champion, the runner-up at the World Championships last year, the junior world champion last year, but it was all Randy at 60 kilos. So this, in its own way, territory.
Yeah, because others would say, you know, isn't that really a conservative opener? But that's the reason why.
And she weighed 72.82, so again, you know, there's room for her to take an extra kilo or two if she wants it. But this is step by step. But she is a proven winner. Lovely.
Smiles. Came out like a tiger, you know, leaves with a big smile. Very happy about that.
I mean, I know people have to be in the zone, but at the same time, I quite enjoy people who are, you know, enjoying themselves.
She took plenty of time in the bobs to just make sure that she had everything secure before standing up.
One youngster so successful at 69 kilos to another one. Svetlana Shimkova, 28, obviously that much more experienced. The lightest of the class at 69 kilos, 20. What damage can she do at 75 kilos?
It looks to me like a lot just by that expression on her face.
Padova from Tatarstan in the Russian Federation.
So is she a local Kazakh?
I'm not actually sure which part, but I'm...
Yeah, fairly would have to be at least fairly local then, right?
Tell you what, those... One of the things she's got this Infinity car, which is half a Mercedes and half a Toyota, and she bombs around in that.
Boy.
Alexei Nee, always on the move. 110 kilos for his rising star, so he hopes. And again, Randy, this is another lifter who was last year plying her trade at 69 kilos. It's yet another lifter moved up to get the silver medal in the Junior Worlds in this weight category.
Yeah, she's taking care of business too. I mean, 105, successful, goes to 110, you know, really fairly substantial increase. Yeah, they've got her in for, you know, a nominal 111, which I'm sure will change, but she's performing. I'm sure Alexei's got a plan to bring her along slowly, and he will want to build on success.
While he's got Padova, he's got the luxury of being able to develop her at the optimum speed rather than over-pushing her. South American support in what I have to say is a crowded arena. One or two people made comments to us that you haven't actually seen the crowd. Well, take our word for it that it is a full house. It's just that it's very theatrical and it's dark, and if anybody put a television camera on it, you probably wouldn't see the people. But I promise you, it is absolutely full. Tickets sold out. Well done to the French. I'm disappointed there. I wanted her to get to that sort of 110, yeah, which is where she should be.
Yeah, I had two good lifts. Let's see if she swings the bar right there. She aims her hips into it, sort of with the hope maybe of lofting it a little bit, but instead gave it a boost that ultimately brought it behind her head.
Kim of Korea out for 111. Now this is a decent increase here. Six kilos. Move her up into the silver medal position momentarily. Very good.
Boy, on rails, you have a feeling that the North Korean team is probably very disciplined in execution of the lifts and not showing any extra emotion here. Watch this. Just puts the bar right where it should be, puts her body where it's supposed to be. Good lift.
Pleasing thing about it is, again, you know, she's getting rid of all those horrible ghosts from previous competitions.
Making this look pretty easy too, don't you think?
Well, they've obviously worked on technique, because technique is premium in the snatch division, and she's getting the reward now, 2 out of 2, so that's really good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's a good comment. Snatch does have a lot of precision. There's not a lot of wiggle room in there for adjusting things if they're not on track out.
I don't have a clue, as you see Lydia Valentine from Spain coming out, as to what the Korean's personal best is, but on paper, as I've got it, I think that was a personal best. Now, the European bronze medalist did a total of 264 in Kazan, the most progressive competition of her career. Looking for a total of 260, needs to get off to this really good start, Lydia. 112. And the only Spanish lifter in a medal final here at these World Championships gets 3 white lights and puts some of those nerves away. You could sense the tension and nervousness in her. But now, got got to come back down and focus after that, stay in the zone and build on that.
Yeah, absolutely right, David. I thought she almost seemed a little nervous too by her standards out there, and clearly relieved that first one on the board.
You know, 260 is a total. Where she do that, that's in with a shout of maybe a bronze medal. But she's got to make all the lifts now. Egypt, 112 also, second attempt. Good for me. And that takes her up into third place in the race for the snatch gold, and the reason she's third is because she's just that bit heavier than Lydia Valentine, who you just saw lift 112 also. At the moment, still in the lead is our Nigerian from the B group, Haditha Zakari, with 115 kilos.
Got rocked back on her heels trying to save that. Didn't work. Wasn't enough. She's losing the bar behind, getting rocked trying to save it. Can't do it. Has to release the bar anyway at that point, or her arm will go at the elbow. So the warm-up room, our coach is studying the attempt board. It's where the chess game takes place. You can see they're making a change in weight. They're getting hand signals. A lot of strategizing here. You have to have a good coach, and this is what's called a platform coach.
So Shimkova looking pretty determined.
Yeah, I think she comes out pretty fierce looking.
Yeah, I think that's the way that she exudes her confidence and aggression. I think she can do this. I think the weight isn't the issue. I think it was just technique. And I think the 113 well, it should be possible.
And misses that one out front.
Well, you see, when she won the World 69 kilo title last year, she actually picked up 116 kilos on the way to a total of 256. So she'll be disappointed with that.
Oh.
But I did say right at the beginning, Randy, you know, this is absolutely new territory, so they're not putting any pressure on her.
Big lift, I think. Look, they've just popped it up another kilo, so they've got her in at 115. She was coming out for 114, this #2 lifter for Kazakhstan.
Yeah, for Kazakhstan, well, I've still got it on 114. Have you got 115 there now?
Yeah, but at 115, that's why she's not coming out, but it shows their confidence in her. I don't have enough wind to try to pronounce the name, so.
Yeah, they must be mindful, though, of the Nigerian in that B group on 115. Nobody wants to fall below that. But this lady here, Kim Unju, 114, given her recent record, if she makes 3 out of 3, this will be super vindication. Give her all the confidence she needs. And so far, they've looked good, the first two attempts, Randy. I mean, she's executed really well. But this will be a test. This really will be a test for her.
Oh, good for her. I wasn't sure she was going to save that. 3 kilo increase from the second attempt. You'll see the rotation in the bottom position. That's to keep everything aligned so that she can support the weight.
And that's really, you know, when you think about it, 105 conservative, 111 going for it, 114 into new territory. She makes all 3 lifts, deserves the reward.
Indeed. Nicely done. There's the rotation and comes up.
But the rotation doesn't matter, providing the bar is still, the feet are straight and in line, all of those things done, and she finds herself at this particular moment in overall silver medal position in the snatch phase. But there are some really good lifters to come.
Yeah, Padova's in for what? Is it 125 as her opener?
125, and I think she's probably just cruising at that weight.
Right.
And it's really up to her. She's sort of sitting there waiting to decide where she wants to come in.
125, that opening snatch that's on the board for her right now, is the best clean and jerk, right, in the B session today. Just to give you an idea of her supremacy.
Irina Kulesha.
That was a nice lift.
Yeah, she's wearing a very similar competitor's suit to the Russian colors, actually.
Watch as she pulls this bar, very smooth. Turn over the top is smooth. You can picture her stretching the bar. Makes it look easy. A little over 250 pounds, you know, and makes it look light.
Takes her into the lead because now, because of lighter body weight, she gets ahead of the Nigerian. And now, Anna Nurmukhambatova, 115 kilos. She's lighter than the lifter just before, so this is a game to go into first place.
Well, not quite. She made 2 lifts, 105, 110. Was in at 114, then went up to 115, and just wasn't quite there for her today.
Yeah, leaves her down in 8th place. So, same weight on the bar. This is the Egyptian lifter, Abdel. 3 kilo increase for her, 74.96. So this will just move her up from 5th to 3rd. But of course, this is a competition where the total is the most valued achievement. Never really got under it, and then everything was behind the bar, really, Randy.
Yeah, starts with a very wide foot position. Look at the foot spacing, you know, for her start. That right heel coming up, I don't think that does her any favors, losing contact that early, because she's probably losing power when she loses contact with the floor at that point.
So the mighty protagonists have yet to start. Padova for Kazakhstan and Evshtukina for Russia. Remembering that, of course, once upon a time, Padova was a successful Russian lifter.
Yes.
Now, Kang Hui. 6 kilo increase to put her into the gold medal position. Nicely executed.
Little adjustment at the bottom. She'll shift over to the left in the bottom position. That's fine. You know, she had the ability to do that.
You like the way she's enjoying herself.
Yeah.
When you get someone enjoying that, it does actually tell you that there's a measure of confidence. It's very interesting when she comes out for a 3rd attempt, where, you know, she's got to go for it in a sense, to see whether the smiles are that wide and that broad.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good comment. If people are really rigid, suggest they're really nervous about the weights.
Lydia picked up 122 kilos in Kazan at the European Championships. So, again, if she wants to be in with the shout of overall medals, she can't afford to give this one away. She needs to use and make all three in this first half. Fifteen seconds. Good stuff.
Nice.
That was better.
Yeah.
That was better than the first one. Well done, Lydia.
Yeah.
You see, in the 2 times in her career when she's won a bronze medal at European levels, both times she's got 120 or more.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think, has Lydia ever medaled at the Worlds? I don't think she has. Yeah, I don't think.
No, she totaled last year.
Yeah.
She got 112 in the snatch phase and then 135, 3 failures in the clean and jerk. And you know, Randy, it's like everything. You know, you get off to a good start, the confidence is there, but also you get into a rhythm.
Right.
And people underestimate how important that is, the rhythm that you take into a competition. And that's where you feel that you're just sort of rolling on, the plan's really working for you. You know, little breath there to say, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Now, got to think about the third one now, because they're going to push her on the third one. They have to push her on the third one to keep her there or thereabouts.
Yeah, she's got good momentum, I mean, in a larger sense, too, because remember the performance she turned in Kazan at the Europeans this year.
Yeah,
she really impressed us. I mean, it was a big-time performance by Lydia.
Well, it was 122, 142, 264. It was, to be honest, it was the best performance we've ever seen from her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just hope she can have another stellar night here. Great there. Well, I said take my word for it, but there's some Kazakhs and Russians, and you can see it really is a full house.
And dramatic. You get a sense of the lighting.
Yeah.
And those lights that you see on the fans right now are usually down when the person's lifting. So it's really quite theatrical in here. Do you have a hand in arranging this, the staging?
No, but you know, Randy, we've always tried to work on this sort of staging for a long time.
Right.
To actually really emphasize the theatrical nature of the sport, the drama of the sport in a theatrical setting.
Right. You and I are kind of lone voices on that, though. That's why I thought you might have a hand on this. It looks great here. It's hazardous walking up and down the stairs in the dark, I'll say that, but looks good.
Belarus, Irina Kulesha, and the bar has gone to 119 kilos. Well, I had 119. There's Svetlana Padova, who's, well...
There's a disagreement going on now about who's coming out. I think what they're saying is 120 was already put on the bar when she was coming out for 119, and that they can't go back. Well, which means they figure this out.
Well, it means if they go that way, then Kulesha actually loses a lift. If that's...
Yeah. I mean, if a lifter...
Well, it's been settled in her favor, so that's good news.
Yes.
119. It's all about the relationship between the secretariat desk to the left of the lifter, as you see there, and the technical controller's desk outside. So 119 kilos for second attempt for Irina Kulesha. 30 seconds to go.
Okay, I know she stepped forward, but you know what? I had the feeling, well, that she was not rattled by any of that. Boy, she came out and just did another basically precise lift. I know she walked forward, but look at this. You know, that was a pretty big snafu going on there. She came out ready to lift. They whistled her back, you know. There was a disagreement about what they were going to do with the weight on the bar. She didn't let any of that affect her. She came out and did her job.
Interesting to see what she goes for next time. She close to her best. 120 would be just about the best we've seen from her, but Kang Hui now for this third attempt. Now, this is interesting. This is again a 4-kilo increase. Now, do we get all the smiles, or are we a lot more serious this time?
I think she'll save the smiles for after. Could that break glass? We won't get the smile. Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. She still smiled. She said, I tried.
So it's a pity there, but she's in bronze medal position at the moment. I sense, though, a lifter with some promise. You know, she's only 20. She's new to the weight class. I think they've got a lot to work with there.
You know, we talked about Lydia Valentine at the Europeans. You know, she did 122 there.
Now, where we are now is Lydia has one lift left, so has Irina Kulesha, and then we've still got Evstukina and Padova to start. So what we're really witnessing here is the battle for arguably the bronze medal. So 120 kilos, this is a 3 kilo increase. She's actually lighter than Kulesha. Come on, stand still on that podium. Has to put the bar down on the podium. 3 out of 3. Now this is fascinating, Randy, because she put 120 on the bar. She holds on at the moment, you know, to that medal opportunity. But Kulesha has actually put 121 on the bar because she's heavier.
Yeah.
She's got to take that extra kilo.
Yeah, see, Lydia gets a nice lift, but Lydia is in the same position that she was in Kazan. 112, successful, 117, successful, went to 122 in Kazan.
Yeah. Now, Lydia's in gold medal position, 2 to start, the 2 big favorites. Kulesha makes this, then she's the one who's going to get the bronze medal for the snatch. If she doesn't, then Lydia has got the bronze medal in the snatch division of the World Championships. So it's either Spain or Belarus. It's Belarus.
See, and this is why I raised that. At this point, Lydia and her coach are going, maybe we should have gone 21 or 22 as we did in Kazan.
Well, that's the judgment call, isn't it? I mean, in a sense, Lydia's done nothing wrong because she's well in there still with a shout for overall honours.
Also going forward, just as Lydia had done, but also a good lift, but really turns the barn over well. But I think this is probably the end of the preliminaries, and I think the long ball hitters are getting ready to come out.
Absolutely right, and just around the corner, here she is, the world record holder. The world record holder in the snatch and the total, but not the clean and jerk. Rival tonight is the main contender in that particular phase. Svetlana Padova, 25 years of age, from Kazakhstan, formerly for Russia. She came from Zima in middle Siberia, the same town as Tatiana Medalist, who was on the stage a year ago, and she's opening up as announced on 120. Oh, well, in fact, Evstukina.
Yeah.
Evstukina's coming out. So Evstukina from the Moscow suburbs. Coached by Natalia Shiraeva, who was a pretty decent lifter in the 90s. 10 seconds. 9.
Ooh. Whoa. Whoa. You know, just a reminder, put this in perspective, this is the biggest clean and jerk, basically, out of the B session. 125 kilos. Boy, she just made that look easy. has pink fingernail polish, I noticed, which maybe she took a cue from Lydia. There's a lot of pink, right?
Evstukina, the reigning European champion from Kazan. And now Padova, who's gone to 126 kilos. A kilo up? Well, quite simply, she is heavier than Evstukina. So here she is, this former Russian lifter who switched after the Olympics in 2008 to Kazakhstan.
Well, we got a battle. Watch her start in the snatch. If we see the feet start together, start very close together, and then watch her jump them out. That's to help her get lower. Nice lift.
Svetlana Padova, who was a former two-time European champion for Russia, a junior world champion for Russia. But then, of course, there was a great women's 75-kilo competition in Doha in 2005 when she picked up 279 kilos in those days. But after that, she was found to have been a naughty girl, had a 2-year suspension, came back to Russia. This is Padova. They said, fine, you can compete, but you won't be representing us at the Olympic Games. She said, don't think much of that, and Kazakhstan offered her a new opportunity. Since then, she's flown. And all the records have been, you know, hers, really. Until Evstukina turned up in Kazakhstan and took the clean and jerk gold. So the job for Evstukina is to stick with Padova here. That's her task. And it's gone to 130 kilos. The world record is 134 kilos, owned by Padova, who set that in the World Championships last year in Antalya. And this will start to put a bit of pressure on Padova. If Evstukina does this, interesting. There's Sultan Karakotov. Well done, well done. Boy.
Making it look easy.
Now, I hope somebody gives her that silly number back because it's fallen off.
Yeah, but they've been sticking pretty well on this in this contest.
No, but you can get in a rule infraction which can really distract you if you don't have the number on.
Yeah.
And Padova will, I think, just put a kilo over this just to keep tabs on Evstukina.
Yeah, interesting though, because she's roughly in a position to, if things go well, take a shot at her world record in the snatch on the third attempt. I don't want to think too far ahead, but
Alexei looks slightly nervous to me. Well, this is one of his great talents in his Kazakh squad.
No need to be nervous. I think we're going to see a world record attempt on the third.
You know, when you think about it, Zulfira Shinshanlo in that, 53-kilo competition, and this woman, he's got two of the world's absolute top lifters. I mean, Zulfira has to be on the short list for Olympic gold, and so does this woman.
Boy, I mean, you can see why she's the world record holder. We've got some serious fighting going on here because we're in at 132 for Padova coming up next.
Well, the interesting, but the interesting is surely it's going to be Evstukina who comes out.
Exactly. That's the big but, and she's coming out for, I think, what, 33 maybe?
Yeah, because if Evstukina is going to do some damage, it's going to be in the clean and jerk. So what Evstukina wants to do is to stay as close as she can.
Yeah, she's just called for 133. Huge. I mean, that was 1 kilo under the world record 134.
Absolutely, but also it's new new territory for Evstukina on a competition stage. What she's done in the gym, completely different.
Right, because she clean and jerk 156 in Kazan for the gold medal.
Padova did 157 this season in the last season in the Asian Games, and she did 163 in the Kazakh Nationals. But this is not the Kazakh Nationals. This is the World Championship. Coming up to the 30-second buzzer.
I would have liked to have seen her make that. You know, it was 3 kilos above her second attempt, so you say, well, you know, 3 kilos, but 3 kilos might end up looming large by the end of the evening.
Well, this gives an opportunity for Padova to do two things. She's a kilo ahead, she is the heavier lifter, and it's 135. She's gone for a new snatch world record to increase her advantage, but also at the same time she'll be mindful that Evstukina has got the clean and jerk world record at 162 kilos, so therefore why take a chance? If she can set this new world record, then she gives herself a very useful cushion. She has a 5-kilo cushion over Evstukina.
Right. Because it's a world record, to her, it's putting 4 more kilos into the bank going into the clean and jerk.
It's also extra wages.
Probably.
Certainly. Half a minute. Well, she didn't make it, and you know what that means? There's only a kilo between the Kazakh and the Russian.
I thought you were going to say the shopping trip was canceled. Yeah, you know, David, look, she fully expected to make that. You can tell by her reaction after. She really thought, oh man, how did I miss that? So she's obviously been hitting that in the gym.
But the game is on between these two now, because Evstukina, who might have felt a bit, you know, down-crested and fallen after her failure, now says, well, hang on a second, I've done 162. They say she's done 163 in the Nationals. That means we must be pretty close.
Yeah.
So if I can outfox her, and I've got the lighter body weight, this gold medal, the hat-trick of World Championships, may not be so easy for Padova, and she knows it.
Yeah, see, this is a bad way for her to be going into the clean and jerk. She's taking this pretty seriously. We'll see if she just shakes it off.
There we have it, Padova, 131, a kilo ahead. Then you drop down to Kulesha, who's 10 kilos off the lead, just ahead of Lydia Valentine. They're fighting out for the bronze medal. In there as well is Kang Hui of China. And look at that, Haditsa Zakari from Nigeria, from the B group earlier today, up into 6th place in the snatch rankings. But actually, it looks between the top 2 for gold and silver, and then Kulesha, Valentine, and Kang for the bronze medal. So good competition, all to play for. Fascinating second half to come. Time for us to take a break, and we'll be back to get ready for the clean and jerk after this. So there's the full house inside the Disneyland Dome. Really nice atmosphere, and I can tell you it's a sellout tomorrow night when France had their main chance in the men's 85 on Benjamin Hennequin. And just a reminder of where we were, starting with Irina Kulesha. Well, we feel a little bit upset for Valentine. Maybe they got the planning wrong, but this is Kulesha's attempt here. And you've got to say that Kulesha 115, 119, 121, 3 out of 3.
We're working on that. Nice run, you know, and there was that confusion on her 3rd attempt, which didn't really rattle her in a big way. Pretty professional out there. Taking care of business.
See, the energy is taken out of her with the way she's breathing at the end of it.
Yeah.
Now, a few steps forward there, but in the end. No question, the arms are absolutely solid, locked out, held. And now to the woman that ultimately has taken the silver medal, Evshtukina. Evshtukina, 125, 130. And this is the 130 kilo lift we're about to see now.
Important for her because she's laying a base here, building a foundation for the clean and jerk. She's in, believe it or not, I mean, she's a little bit in damage control mode here, but there's not a lot of damage being done to her. Kicks down, separate the bar, get underneath. Number comes off, that part's not expected. Boy, she's got great lockout. That's what you'd like to have as a weightlifter. Just the way the arms go. Can't change it. That's what you're born with. This is great. Watch the bar get separated. Acceleration right there. Reverses direction. Locks it out overhead. Isn't distracted by that number coming off. Stretches the bar. There's the lockout. See how the arms go past straight? Arch in the back. Nice lift.
And so to the woman who actually has ultimately come out on top on the snatch base, but unexpectedly only carries forward 131 kilos. And this looks to have slightly unsettled the whole Kazakh camp now, because, you know, they're so used to it being, you know, routine delivery.
It rattled her cage.
Yeah.
All appearance.
And the other thing, of course, is Alexei Nev and his team.
Look at that look. I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
Fierce. I mean, just fierce.
Yeah, but Alexei Nev and the coaching team, they've not had in recent years to do any consolation for her or build her up again. Or
smokes the second attempt. Then the world record attempt's going to come up. That's his second attempt still.
Yeah. Look at that. In picture in the warm-up.
Yeah, a lot can take place in the clean and jerk, especially because there's more weight involved.
So here we go with the Japanese representative. This is Kazuha Hema Hoco, who at the halfway stage finds herself down in 14th place, having only made 1 out of 3 and only bringing forward 100 kilos. But that's 117 on the shoulders. And that's above the head, so securing a total. So it takes her up to 217 kilos. But again, I have to put here into context, Randy, the performance of Haditsa Zakari of Nigeria, who didn't make many lifts today. In fact, she only made 2 out of 5 in the B group and totaled up nonetheless 240.
Right, although she did pass on her third attempt in the clean and jerk, but I mean, your point is a good one, but we will see the top lifters very substantially exceed that number. I mean, look, you know, we had...
She's going to take a few scalps, that's what I meant. She, you know, here you've got...
No, but I mean, by the end of the session,
yeah,
you know, that'll be way back. It'll, you know, they'll be looking at that number in the rearview mirror. Well, we've got 12 lifters in this class, so the first few to start here aren't going to be up at the very top. One thing that was really nice, David, you know, that we've complained when the success ratio was low. I mean, this wasn't high, but the percent of good snatches was, I think, substantially higher in this session than we've seen so far this week. And I think part of what contributed to the enjoyment for the fans.
Yeah, and Hema Hoco, in a sense, forced to come out again because nobody else wants 120 kilos.
Let's be frank, nobody else is lifting something that light.
Padova, opening weight 155. Guess what? Evshtukina 155. Looking at Lydia Valentine in that fight for bronze, 133, but Kulesha's put 140 on. So the coaches have got to be very alert in those two camps as to what's going to happen. And Kang Hui of China, 135. Shimkova of Russia, 135. It's really interesting. The bronze medal fight could be just as interesting as the fight for gold and silver. Little ways to go, though. Now, 120, 3 kilos increase to take her to 220. Well, if I sounded a bit critical, let me put this in perspective. That is a new personal best at 220. And the 120 represents a new clean and jerk mark for her. So, you know, so it'd be very interesting if we ever did have a class of 12 all up to the Padova standard at the same time. And Mary Opologi from Samoa now to open up on 121 kilos. Mary in 12th place at the halfway stage, bringing forward 101 kilos. So this for 222. And as a total, again, this would be a new mark for her, a new achievement with her first attempt if she can do this. So, in a sense, fingers crossed.
Well, it looks kind of shaky, and you know, she's using a lot of real estate on that platform and a lot of extraneous movement, but you know, in the end, it's lift the weight and get the lift passed. Watch this. Looks pretty good to that point. Jerk, though, is not going to be rock solid. Wobbling around, right arm. And the feet are, you know, dancing around a little
More
bit.
wobbling. I don't think that was a press out.
No, yeah, but it's not like just, you know, just.
The thing about Mary is that she's 19 and she can actually look forward to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow in 2014, the next Olympic Games after that, Rio. But perhaps actually it's this generation of South Pacific Islanders, the women who got engaged in this sport, who are actually going to inspire the next generation.
Right.
So, you know, maybe those big championships aren't going to come their way that quickly, but 2016, 2020, who knows?
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it, because that's probably, you know, a realistic view as far as the gestation period for producing an Olympic level athlete.
So the bar on 122, Valois of Colombia wanting to come in at 127, but pretty well everybody else in the 130s. So there's a little bit of follow myself going on here at the moment. Guarding the platform.
Really looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't cross this line. Yeah, I don't know if you'll see that tape. Probably abrasion. Could have happened, because I don't remember, did she have this in the snatch? If she didn't, could have happened as she was warming up in the clean and jerk. The bar is knurled, of course, which is a polite way of saying it hits your skin. Nice long pull. I don't know if you agree with this, David, but boy, it was noticeable to me that the left arm is in a very different set position. She's ready for the jerk from the right arm. Watch the elbow on the left arm. Look at this. It's way up. Look at this.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why she misses the jerks and why that right arm is so wobbly. And the right arm, I mean, in my opinion, did unlock there, but maybe there's something going on. Maybe she broke an arm, bone wasn't set correctly, who knows? But that asymmetry doesn't do her any favors in the jerk.
So once again, she finds herself in the position of having to recover because there's nobody to help her out as we whip into the warm-up room to see Kankwe. And what they've done is they've invited Hema Hoco to go to 123, which she has. Now that's buying a little bit of time for Mary Opologi. So she's on 220. She's already set new marks, so that's very good. She actually wanted to get to 230. That was her actual target for the evening. This would get her to 223, which wouldn't be too bad. But at the end of the day, it's 3 out of 6, 50% lifting ratio of good lifts. And really, the setback for her was in the snatch phase when she missed those 2 attempts at 104, second and third time around.
Yeah, this jerk isn't too close. I mean, she looks like she's committed to it. Stands up with the weight, elbows up, deep breath, and just didn't drive her body under it.
So Mary's put the bar up to 124, and that was just to essentially buy a bit of time. And it's quite reasonable, 124, because if she'd got the 122 at the second attempt, not unreasonable, as she would have in any case put in another 2 kilos. So maybe 124 was where she was looking to be. She's on a total of 222, and again, she's set herself a target of 230. Just moves the bar back to the back of the platform, just in case when she jerks, she might need to come forward on the platform.
Yeah, she already came forward a couple steps in the clean, maybe 3 at this point.
No, too heavy.
Yeah, she has a very wide stance, in other words, foot position, when she gets set for the jerk.
I think also, to be honest, the exertions have caught up with her.
Watch how wide her feet are going to be when she gets set for this jerk. Normally at about hip width. So her feet are well wider than her hips. She's got quick feet. I mean, she splits quick, but she's just not under it.
The other thing about Mary is she's not afraid of getting under the bar, and you know that might sound sort of casual, but if you think about what you're actually doing, you're sort of putting yourself in jeopardy by going under a bar carrying 127 kilos, as Valores is doing now.
Nice to see someone punch a jerk. Yeah, absolutely true. There's a big fear factor in the clean and jerk. Not so much in the snatch, some, but clean and jerk can make people's knees shake. This is a nice lift, particularly because she finishes with such a powerful jerk. Wide grip, gets there. That's to have a pneumatic brace in her upper body, as it were. Dips, rams that thing up, rams her body down.
Well, I'd like to see her go on here and get into the 130s. I mean, she should do. Has done before, so there's Lydia in her own little world. As you say, pink is never far away from Lydia.
There you go. Yeah. And color coordinated. Yeah, she gets the color palette set, I think, and then accessorizes.
133. So now we're beginning to see maybe this battle for overall third place. But the important thing about this is there are a lot of lifters who lifted less than Lydia. Remember, Lydia lifted 120 kilos, but you've got Shimkova, who might clean and jerk some more. who only had 110. There were one or two people who could really mess around with the clean and jerk competition.
Yeah. Lydia is starting a kilo higher than she did in Kazan. You know, we keep going back to that Kazan performance, which was a breakout performance for her.
But they've obviously done their chatting and talking and mathematics over the interval here, and they sort of know where they've got to be, know who their opposition really is. It would be a fantastic achievement if she could get overall bronze for Spain. Landmark. 27. Punch. No worries there. It was very well done.
Nice work. Well, see, what I was thinking, and this might be what they're thinking, is that they are going to make up the ground with a clean and jerk that they ceded in the snatch relative to Kazan.
What really, I mean, Kolesha, who denied her the bronze medal in the snatch phase, though, has opened or entered 140.
Boy, she looks strong there, huh? Just stands right up with this. She looks confident, too. She's like, okay, this is routine. I'm just another day in the office. You could see there how quick the dip is. I mean, as far as the extension is what I should say, that, you know, the downward part is quite slow, but you can see the snap as she's straightening out her legs for the dip phase and the drive phase of the jerk.
Who's about 10 kilos down now on what she did last year in Turkey in the World Championships, but this is a 5 kilo increase, and it's only her second attempt, so she could get very close to last year's 244. Not now, though.
Well, I don't know, is she injured or just kind of discouraged because she's sort of walking a little crab-wise, right? Yeah, maybe just discouraged.
I think she's disheartened more than injured.
Yeah, that's it. She pretty much gets slammed by this. Let's watch. Yeah, I jump backwards. Yeah, that's it's a mental thing. It's not physical. She's not injured. Not physically injured. The way she bounced up, I think, indicates that too. So anyway, that's part of where this fear comes from. You know, you pull the bar up, and then you've got to get under this weight, and you have visions of your wrist snapping, being crushed, maybe falling your back, having the bar separate your head from your shoulders, and all sorts of things you can think of going wrong.
Overall leader at the moment in the competition is Lydia Valentine with a total of 253, having surpassed, obviously, Haditza Zakari of Nigeria, who's currently in second place, and her teammate, actually, Juliet Okebo, currently fourth overall. So two interesting performances by the Nigerians.
Wrapping the knees, that's just to add a little stability to the joint. This isn't like powerlifting where she'll come out walking like Frankenstein. You still need mobility, but the knee wraps also help keep the knee joint warm, but a little extra stability.
Well, no, I can't believe, no, it can't be.
Yeah, that's why he stopped her.
Yeah, I mean, she was getting all excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the job of the TC, technical controller, make sure the right lifter's going out there. It's one of the jobs.
5 kilo increase. Last attempt. A chance for her to take herself to 239. Sorry, my maths has deserted me. 240.
You bounce and try to stand up. She does. She doesn't quit. Good. Now, there was a case where the number came off and went to a very unfortunate place in the ground. I mean, I think her foot goes right over that number. Anyway, tough competitor. She had a struggle to stand up with that weight, and boy, she still gave it the works in the jerk and good left.
So Kang Wei to come on next. Lydia Valentine, incidentally, has posted 138 as her next attempt, just to keep you in touch with her thinking. But Padova of Kazakhstan due in at 1:35, so she should be up after this lifter. There's a whole bunch of them, actually. There's a whole 1, 2, 3, 4. Four lifters looking for this as a starter. So gets the 1:35 to go with the 1:16. 2:51. And takes herself up into second place, a couple of kilos behind Lydia Valentine. And now Shimkova of Russia. Didn't quite work out for her in the snatch phase, so this is big catch-up time here. This will give her a total of 2:45. Now we're beginning to get on our way. Of course, this is the penultimate women's class, Randy, and you took time, I gather, to went up to the training hall to study the super heavyweights.
Well, I have to admit something. I was tipped off that the Iranian supers were going to be training at 5 o'clock yesterday.
This is the men's division.
In men's division, right? Yeah. And
who impressed you?
Well, actually both of them, but Bedat Salimi, the guy who seems, I think, would be the prohibitive favorite on paper, snatched 200 kilos yesterday, and he cleaned 250 quite easily, but he missed the jerk. And the number 2 guy, Sajjad, he snatched 200 but with straps.
Okay.
But he did it with straps, but anyway, he snatched 200 also. I forgot he cleaned and jerked maybe 235 or 45, something like that.
It's only a few days away. That's Sunday afternoon. And now Kulesha in this fight. Now, this is interesting. Kulesha had posted 140. She's come down to 135. So this for 256, which would put her 3 kilos ahead of Lydia Valentine. But she is the heavier of those. But I think Lydia, they've worked this out quite well. That's fine. Sort of expected that the opener would be comfortable, particularly since they've come down. Maybe not because she hasn't warmed up well, but just maybe, Randy, reacting to circumstance.
Right. Very solid looking. I mean, we're seeing some good jerks here. Yeah, the stereotype is that women might, relative to men, have a tougher time on the jerk in particular. We're seeing some good, strong jerks in this class.
Yeah, we've got 3 women now in the 250s. Kulesha leads 256 for Belarus, 253 Valentine for Spain, 251 for China, Kankhui, and now this is Nurmuk Hambatova, the 18-year-old.
Whoa. Yeah, fairly heavy, but point out a couple things. Watch, she'll jerk from her fingertips. Watch how deep she has to sink in the split when she jerks. And that's to save this. Watch now, you'll see the bar will end up being just on her fingertips when she jerks, which is fine. See, doesn't have a death grip on the bar. Some lifters will lift like that. Look at this, a great save. The expression on her face tells all now. It's like, whoa, that was hard, that was heavy.
And Abir out on stage now for Egypt for her opener. 136 kilos for Abir Abdul Rahman. lifting quite well at the moment. She was 8th at the halfway stage, but respectable efforts in the first half.
Huh. That's kind of interesting. You know, she starts with a very wide foot position in the clean, and she does a power jerk, and feet go really wide. What you're doing in power jerk, same as split jerk, in that you're driving the bar up and then reversing directions with your body, driving it underneath the bar. Most lifters split, and one foot goes forward, one goes back. Power jerk, they go to the side like that, and hers go really wide. And then goes down about the depth of a quarter squat or so.
Goes up into 4th place overall. Kulesha, by the way, has posted 140 for her 2nd attempt. Lydia Valentine 138. Very much nip and tuck between those two, and only 3 kilos separating them. But then also you've got to take into account Kang Hui, who's actually only 5 kilos off Kulesha as well, with still 2 attempts to come.
Yeah, Valentine really surprised us in Kazan, because she took a 10-kilo jump from her first to her 2nd attempt to, I think, a PR 142. This is a lot more conservative.
Yeah, but I think what they've got in mind is, you know, this is the steady progression, and then we'll just see what we need with that last lift.
I agree. Because she missed 146 in her 3rd there.
She is a major point scorer for Spain to get a women's place in the Olympic Games.
Right.
That's going to be fine as well.
Yeah, and that's why your point is dead on target. They need to get points, okay? And it's not, you know, if she's not really in the hunt for the medals, okay, that's fine. But it doesn't mean that she can't score points for Spain. The way she would not score points, though, is to take jumps that were too high and miss lifts.
Yeah, I mean, she's whizzed herself up there with that 5 kilo increase to 258. She did 264 in Kazan. But again, like I said, you know, the conditions she was in Kazan is different to what's gone on in the months since then in preparation for these World Championships. And you've got to relate to the here and now, not, you know, past days.
Kazan had no bearing directly on London. It was just Kazan and medals. Okay.
What Kazan did, though, for Lydia was give her confidence.
Yes. Yes, and now she's here to bag the points for the team.
The belief looks really good. You know, she's got 5 out of 5 now. So Kang Hui going for 140. And again, this is...
Yeah, you know, I'm sorry.
This is a 5 kilo increase, so this would take her to 255, which would leave her 3 kilos behind Lydia Valentine. It's all down to what Kulesha does, really. Because these two are pretty close, the Spaniard and the Chinese woman. They'll both have an attempt left, assuming that Kang picks this up. But it's all about what Kulesha does on her next lift.
This is going to be a popular number, too. This is going to be a popular weight, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looked heavy standing up, but you know, the first shot at 140 was unsuccessful. The wheels really came off in the jerk. But we're going to see a handful or so of attempts at this weight, I think.
Well, she was taking on a weight that she lifted last year in the 69 kilo championship, in which she finished silver medalist. So,
yeah,
you know, but, you know, again, one has to remember that she weighed in at 72.82. So she's not a full 75 kilo lifter, and she's a little heavy 69 kilo lifter. Now, ready out is Shimkova to try 140. This to take her to 250. No worries there.
Yeah, good. You see a Russian flag waving down there in the audience. Okay, first successful lift at 140. Let's see if we keep this going now and roll. Her hips really come up when she starts her pull them up, which you'd want. Doesn't seem to really hurt her though. I mean, she finishes things off successfully.
Right. I think for all the women around her at the moment, this is the moment of truth, because if Kalesha gets this, she takes herself to 261. Okay, it's only 3 kilos ahead of Lydia Valentine, but the next attempts, the coaches have really got to, well, they're going to take their lives in their hands in what they choose. Heavier.
Yeah.
But she is strong overhead.
Boy, she punches out. Two good lifts. You know, and for the metrically challenged out there, you know, this is a little over 300 pounds. It's 308 pounds.
Absolutely, but if you actually look at this lift here, would you, as Lydia's coach, just sense on the clean here that we might be getting to her limit?
That she is at her limit?
No, not
that
yet.
Lydia will be.
Well, no. How much has Irina got left to, you know, because you've got to, you may be strong overhead, but you've got to clean the thing.
Yeah, I think she can do more than that.
140. It's a new advancement for Irina Kalesha. As you see, Padova not due to appear on the stage until 155, but that's the same weight as Evstukina. At the moment, hopefully you're enjoying the hors d'oeuvre, main course to come. Now, Kang, bit of a repair job for her to do here.
She's coming out smiling though.
Yeah, she's in overall bronze medal position at the moment, Kang. But this would take her to 255. Oh. The left arm hold on the bar there.
Yeah, it just collapsed on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lydia Valentine has posted 142 kilos. Kalesha has posted 145. I wonder whether Kalesha will modify that. It depends on what Valentine does. So 6 kilo increase here. This is going to put this young woman up to 251 if she can get it. She's currently in 6th place. It will take her up to 4th, but in the lead in the clean and jerk. Oof. Doesn't look particularly impressed about that, does she?
No, she'll turn her elbows around here, try to rock it, just bounces right out, just doesn't have control of it.
So Abia, only her 2nd attempt, and again this is 5 kilos. Now this is interesting because this would take her, check on the mass, 253, so this would take her ahead of Kang Wei, who is currently in 3rd place overall. Unlikely to stay there, but frightens me when people do things like that.
Yeah, fortunately, you rarely get hit by the bar in circumstances like that. We might see this in slow motion where she's going to clean, I think, gets the bar on her fingertips there, but now she's going to readjust this time and actually grip the bar. I think maybe it's a heavier weight and maybe she doesn't feel so comfortable jerking it from just the tips of her fingers.
Well, fortunately for the Egyptian, the Kazakh here wants 141 again for her third attempt, so they've each given each other a bit of respite. Well, Anna Padova of Kazakhstan has got 3 white lights, set herself 141 kilos. And she's sort of really lifting right up to where she was in the Junior Worlds. A little down on the snatch phase, pretty well where she was on the clean and jerk. But again, you've got to remember that she's been brought into this World Championship at senior level for the first time. She's only 18 years of age. Yeah, Padova is today's woman for Kazakhstan. Might this one be tomorrow's edition?
2016, she lost the number before she even made it to the chalk stand.
So, what Kazakhstan just achieved, can Egypt replicate? Let's hope so. It's very competitive at the moment amongst all of this little group of women here.
I was going to say, it wasn't too graceful looking. That was before she dropped the bar. Looks a little awkward, but ended up just losing the bar behind. Very upset about that.
Because the other thing, Randy, that you can explain, you know, the power jerk is great, but it's not very forgiving.
Well, it's not as bad as a squat jerk, but usually you do it if you've got, you know, pretty substantial margin of leg strength. Boy, that right heel coming up when she falls. So that was the bandage the second time. I think what you guys call plasters, is that right?
Yeah.
You call them band-aids. The number fell off first, but anyway, and unfortunately she's going backwards trying to save this, trying, you know, a scary thing, and I think she's really disappointed.
Lydia Valentine, how crucial will this be? This is for 6 out of 6. She's currently in second place overall. It's a 4-kilo increase to take her to 262. A couple of kilos short of where she was in Kazan. They've concentrated on what she can do and not worried about the others.
Equal to her clean and jerk there, is what I was going to say. Not the snatch, you're right. She's down on the snatch a couple kilos.
Ooh, great clean.
Oh no, that is too bad, really too bad.
She gave that away.
Yeah, see, I'm with you in terms of what you said, you know, kind of concentrating on what she was doing. And this would have really cemented in everybody's mind that, hey, you know what, Lydia does 142, you better expect it. But you know what, Lydia didn't do 142. She cleaned it easily. She cleaned it like a powerhouse.
She can lift this. She can jerk this.
But now watch this jerk. No, see, you can see why, but she just didn't push through.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't enough aggression. There wasn't enough power and fight in there.
Is this I caramba? Is that what you said at that point?
Well, I'm really disappointed for her because I know she can do better and she knows she can do better. And there was, you know, there was the door that was open. She's currently in second place, but she can't possibly hold on to that. And the worst thing is, of course, she needed to go into gold. And Shimkova now This will take her ahead of the Chinese lifter into 3rd overall, and the lead in the jerk, if she can get it. No. Thresholds being...
Yeah, we're kind of testing things here, huh?
Yeah, thresholds being reached at the moment.
Yeah, I think what we're doing is we're seeing the end of, you know, the first group of lifters in terms of what they're capable of lifting, and then, you know, the first string's going to come in here real shortly.
Yeah. I'm still disappointed for Valentine, because if she'd have lifted the damn thing, she'd have been in the gold medal position, and then Kalesha would have had to have come out and actually beaten her. Now Kalesha's, you know, coming out here with 5 kilos to go, you know, 5 kilos to go, something like...
Yeah, see, and I thought the Spanish team would push Valentine up 1 kilo so she'd have a PR clean and jerk.
Yeah, this will be 266 for Kalesha, which is a heck of a good total when she posted 250 as her total. So she's really gone well today. And I suppose, to be fair, you can't take anything away from her because she's done the business.
5 good lifts so far.
Oh, yeah, so she does 6 out of 6. As much as we appreciate Lydia, you've actually got to give the honour, really, to this lifter. At 145, it's a new big question for her. I've never seen her do this. And she hasn't today, but I'll tell you what she has done. For a lifter who failed to total in Kazan, she has turned her world round, because there she is at the moment, sitting overall in the gold medal position. Now, the players out there are Kim of the People's Republic of Korea, Evstukina, and of course Padova.
You know, she bombed at the Europeans, 5 out of 6 here.
Well, this is going to be something. 146 kilos as an opener to go with 114. Now remember, this is a lifter who's looking for 4 out of 4. And here's another lifter who bombed in the Asian Championships this year, but not in the jerk. She got 146 kilos. That was her best lift in the Asian Championships, and that's what she's opening on now. So this is for 260, which will put her just a kilo behind Kalesha. And obviously in the lead in the clean and jerk. Wow.
Good.
Oh, well, I was impressed with both parts there, Randy.
Yeah.
I mean, the leg strength was there in the clean when she drove up there, and the jerk was confident.
Yeah, and she didn't fall apart. You know, she was at a threshold. This was a turning point. Okay, this is the lift that gives her the total. You know, as you say, a lot of leg strength, stands up well, gives strides, punches this thing overhead, on the board with a total, and a good total.
I suppose I didn't factor her in the beginning because of the history of not getting those snatch phases, but actually looking at this, 105, 111, 114, brings that forward to the second half, puts a 146 on, sits on 260, and is a contender. Not a contender to beat Padova, but a contender now to take the bronze medal. And at this particular moment, she leads the clean and jerk.
151 kilos.
Now, Podobedova's not due to come out till 155, likewise Evstukina. So Kim On-ju, in a funny sort of way, has ended up a bit unlucky here, Randy, because she's got to keep following herself.
Yep. Although, you know, some lifters might prefer that because they can control the timing in a sense. I mean, there's a limit to how much time they can take, but they don't have to wait longer than they might want to.
Well, this is the crucial lift on the second attempt, because what she's doing here, this is the interesting thing from my perspective. I don't think she's got a hope in hell of catching the likes of Padova or Evstukina. Yet there she is sitting with 260, just a kilo below the bronze medal, and she puts on there 5 kilos to get the, to keep going strongly in the clean and jerk. And I'm just wondering, wouldn't it have been better just to make sure of getting that overall bronze? 2 failures and suddenly she's missed out.
Yeah.
But, on the evidence of what we saw, strong young lady in the first part, so
It's got about a minute.
Half a minute. Gets the buzzer.
Well, really good and low.
Well, she's there at the end of the day, and she moves up into the lead for the moment.
5 for 5. She's got a good ride going here tonight.
Well, whatever happens, I mean, she can't be worse than bronze medal now.
She's so excited, and I'm sure that will change in a moment. Third attempt.
We have 2 lifters who still haven't started.
From the People's Democratic Republic of Korea.
And because the other 2 lifters haven't started, of course, you know, Kim Un has now got to decide what she wants to do. Basically, she wants to increase her advantage in the clean and jerk. She can't, oh well, Padova, it's gone to 155, so obviously what the People's Republic of Korea decided now is the fact that they can take a lift whenever, for whatever.
And they've done that, so they've moved up to 156 to push the hand of the Russian and the Kazakh. And so now we'll see
yeah, but based on
Padova come out.
Randy, based on the evidence of that and how deep she got on the first part, I think it's pretty forlorn hope.
Well, she's already got her position locked up, and I think maybe what they're thinking is, let's see what she can lift. She's not going to improve her position, you said, you know, realistically, but she's also not going to lose ground.
Well,
right?
she's leading the clean and jerk. She's in first place overall.
Yeah, but those are just temporary because the big guns haven't come out yet.
But the worst that can happen is that she goes all the way back home to the People's Republic of Korea with 2 bronze medals.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
the worst.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, and they're saying realistically that is what she's going to pocket. So why not really kind of go shoot for the moon? Let's see if she can do this 156. And that's what they're thinking. It's no lose because it's not going to change her medal position.
Okay. So now to the main course, Evstukina, Russia versus Padova, formerly for Russia, these days for Kazakhstan. Evstukina, the world record holder in the clean and jerk, starts this with lighter body weight and a 1 kilo disadvantage. So opening up here on 155, her world record from Kazan is 162. You sense this might go all the way down to the wire.
Well, that lift says, you know what, I'm not going to just roll over and play dead. I don't care what your name is and what country you lift for. I'm not intimidated. Look at this. And she just blows away 155. Look at this.
Gives her 285 as a total. Right up there. When I look at some of the past winners, okay, Padova 292, 295 in her victories. But, you know, 285 is right up there with Chao Lai when she won the Olympic Games in 282. Right up there with Liu Chung-hong of China when she won in 2005 on 285.
So Padova says, okay, you think that's great? Watch this. I'll take 156 and I'll go into first place.
Yeah, I know, but we're playing the same game as we played in the snatch phase.
Yep.
Just the kilo because I'm the heavier lifter.
Yep.
Встать. Ровно с пяток. На пятки встать. Держи!
Right to the edge.
Oh,
Feet
no.
over.
no.
Oh, gosh. 6 more inches. Okay.
I don't know whether that tape was disturbing her that was coming off that was protecting the abrasion, but we're now seeing something we haven't seen for more than 2 years. Padova under real pressure.
Right. Okay. We said that she got rattled in the snatches, right? This is really going to test her mettle. Okay. Here's the rule. The lifter has to stay on the platform. That's part 1. But part 2 is the barbell has to be returned to the platform.
Yeah,
okay?
but
Watch. The toes are going to come off the front edge. Watch. I think, I'm looking at it from the front, but okay, there it is. The toes are over, but that's it. Now, if she could have backed up and turned around and dumped the bar on the platform, she might have had a good lift. And this has got to just really drive them crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's really put some heart into the Russian camp, because now they've got all the initiative, because Evshikina has put the bar up to 160 for, and Padovadova's got to come out and take this.
Yeah, she's saying this is serious, 160. Holy cow, She's not going to make this easy. As I say, this isn't... Evshikina's got her on the run. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely on the run, And the other thing I made the point about in the snatch phase when she missed that, she hasn't been in this situation, and neither of her coaches, where they've had to actually, sort something out.
Yeah.
They've not been in this situation.
Yeah, some people fight well from the front, and some are better catching up. She's used to, as you say, winning the race from the front.
One of the great 75-kilo battles was in the 205 championships in Doha. One of the best I've ever seen, with Lu Chung-hong and Bolotnaya and this woman in. It was one of the great fights.
Absolutely.
Well,
that looked hard.
Easy cleans. Назад можно. Держать! Встань!
So what she says with that lift is, reports of my death are premature, okay?
Yeah, but it didn't look that comfortable, did it?
The clean, I think the clean tested her leg strength a little bit, but, as kind of an indication of how good a lifter she is and how tough an athlete she is, she just destroys this jerk. Boom.
And now, just to mess things around in a moment, Randy, Kim Un-ju's got that one lift up the pocket, is now out on the stage to go 156. She's got lighter body weight than Padova, which will take her back into the gold medal position in the clean and jerk.
And let's see if this was just wishful thinking, or if she really has a shot at this weight.
This could be really clever, because if Padova is in some form of trouble and Evshikina stays strong, she could just convert a bronze into a silver.
Right.
In the clean and jerk.
Yep.
Padova on 287. Evshikina on 285. This was always the question.
Look at this. Don't quit at her.
Come on. Pity. Really good, gutsy competition. 5 out of 6 gets the overall bronze medal and the clean and jerk bronze medal.
And I'd say their takeaway of that is, okay, we didn't lift it, but you know what? We're not scared of that weight, and we're going to lift it later, Look how she fights to stand up with that. Okay, she doesn't jerk it, but, the next time she faces it, she'll experience the confidence of this attempt. So this is Padova's last shot.
Well, Padova has got 287. No, it can't be.
Yeah, she changed her mind.
Evshikina's come out. Now, she's dropped it from 160 to 158. Now, this would take her to 288. And that would force Padova to go at least to 158 as well.
Which is what she's in for.
Mm-hmm. But then it all comes down to the last attempt.
Just as it should, huh?
Indeed.
So this is the lighter of the two.
Come on, girl.
Be gold medal position in the jerk and the total.
Not a problem.
Yeah. See, you know, the other huge advantage she had even before she made that, she has another attempt in her pocket.
Absolutely.
Okay? Padova's got one chance now to roll the dice, and she's going to say, how brave am I? How strong do I feel? How big a number am I willing to put on that bar?
And this is the...
I got to lift it.
And this is the problem that Padova has, or Padova, because Evstukina is the world record holder with 162.
Right. And she's got an attempt left.
And she's forcing Padova to go in. So reality says Padova goes in, takes this up to 289, and then it's just a question of Evstukina doing what is necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, okay, you want to do this to me? And this is confidence from Evstukina's camp, because they're saying 159.
They'll change it.
Yeah, I think they're going to change that again. Yeah, you're right. You know what they're doing?
She's at 161. Padova's in at 161.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh, look, so she's... Evstukina's now gone to 163.
Yeah, but you know what? No, the Russians are driving this. The Russians are driving this. Because I think that what's happening here is that the Russians are driving Padova up.
Yeah, because I think what they're assuming now is Padova's going to come out. They're thinking she's going to miss the 161. Really, our bluff with 163, if it was just a bluff, will work. Because Padova has got to make the 161 now to force Evstukina to come out.
Evstukina is in the gold medal position. She has 288.
Right.
Padova has 287. They both have this lift. I think the Russians have driven this to try and force Padova up, and Padova needs to do this. She has lifted 161. She did that in the World Championships last year. I have to say she only used 5 out of 5 lifts last year, but she hasn't looked the lifter this year. It's hard to win a world title at any stage. It's even harder to defend it. The thought that you go and win 3 in a row, well, there's not many that do that. Chow Lai did it. She won 2 worlds and then the Olympic Games. And 163. Padova going for a world record. Well, if we were in Vegas, Padova has just put all her chips, a mountain of chips, right in the center of the table.
Yeah, boy. If she's scared, she's not showing it.
Look at the pacing around them. Right, 15 seconds, not a lot of time. I'm not that optimistic.
For good reason, I guess. Okay, it would have been a gold and a world record, but it's none of those.
Russia have got their revenge over their former competitor here, and Nadezhda Evstukina is the world champion, and Padova.
I wonder if she's going to come out for the world record.
Well, I think she should.
Need it, but she's going to, I think.
Yeah.
She's already won it.
Oh.
And she's going to take it. This is interesting. What an athlete. She's already won. She doesn't need this.
Yeah, but do you know what? The Russians want to turn the screw.
Yeah, they do. It's a stake in the heart.
Yeah.
Look at those Russian flags flying here.
Yeah, this is the death blow. Because let's face it, this was one of Kazakhstan's real nailed-on medals, the golds.
Yeah.
So Evstukina, 20 seconds. The cleans have looked great, really economical. A kilo ahead of her own world record. Can she do it?
Come on, Kev.
Wait for the crescendo.
Yeah.
Yes! The Russian flags are flying. Nadezhda Evstukina, 23 years of age, from just outside Moscow, takes the championship of the world and increases her own clean and jerk world record. And that was an increase of 5 kilos to take her to 293 kilos. And that is absolutely world class.
Just slammed the door on her way out.
The European champion of 2011 is now the world champion of 2011. And Russia found themselves another star. And only 23. So she goes on the short list for Olympic glory.
Boy, just punches that. She knows right there she's got it overhead locked out.
There's a, if you're Russian, there's a great sweetness about this victory.
Nice sportsmanship.
That said, at your peril, right off Padova, because she finishes on 287. Okay, she's 5 kilos off the pace. This was not a great day for her in the office. She was totally rattled by losing the 135 in the snatch. Here are the clean and jerk results, and there you can see Evstukina, and she makes 5 out of 6 to also take a world record and the clean and jerk gold medal. But Padova only 1 out of 3, can't win championships with those ratios. Kim Un-ju, brilliant for the People's Republic of Korea to get the bronze in there. And look at the other Kazakh in 4th place. And Haditsa Zakari of Nigeria, who lifted in the B group, she up into 11th place, just ahead of her teammate. And Jean Lassen from Canada, and Yvonne Krantz, and there you can see Mary Opologi from the A group down there. But look at the difference there, 121 kilos. And this clean and jerk competition was won with 163. That's the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian Oceans between those competitors. But Evstukina, cool as a cucumber. And I tell you what, there'll be a big shopping party. Shimkova, very sporting over there to congratulate her. They recognise fantastic performance. Overall, look at this, 293. Well, Padova won her first title with 292. Last year it was 295. Okay, it's not the overall world record, but it's way decent that. Padova slightly off form today. Kim Un-ju, 265. Kulesha, decent performance by the Belarus, 261. And Lydia just behind there. But good competition, nip and tuck all the way. But I think we've tonight seen a real champion. Just to put that in context, on Sunday when we have the super heavyweights, of course the Russians in a very strong position with Tatiana Kasharina. So